Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hello and welcome back to KonnectUP. We're filming live again here in Metro Atlanta, and we have a live audience with us today, which we're so excited about it. And we want to welcome you in as well. I'm Gabrielle.
And I'm Sheila.
I'm Latrice.
And I'm LaFay. Welcome to KonnectUP.
Yes. So today we'll be talking about healing, basically, and moving on. And we'll be talking about the occurrence of things that cause us to be in a situation where we need healing, how we are affected by that trauma, the process of healing, how that even relates to our natural physical healing, spiritually as well, and results of that healing once you've actually gone through the process. So you guys ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
Okay, so we know we hear this all the time now. You know, I need healing, they need healing, you know, we need to get a therapist, all this. And sometimes it's used as an excuse not to move forward. And we don't want that to happen. So we're talking today about what are some of the things that have occurred that we have openly talked about on numerous occasions that leads us to a place where we do need to be healed. And for some, things are more traumatic than others, but nonetheless, it's your trauma and you have to be healed from it.
Right.
So when I think about that, I literally have to go back to my childhood to pull things that I had to be healed from in order to move forward, even in ministry, you know, or in life, or to even have a healthy marriage, you know. So for me, it goes back that far, things that were said, things that took place that we have to find a way to get over. So that my curse goes way back and just process it. It lasted all my life to get past it, you know what I'm saying? So for you guys, what are some of the things that come to mind for you that says, hey, these are things that have occurred that I know of for me personally or somebody else, and now they're in a place where they need to be healed?
Well, I can speak for me, like getting married this second time, you know, coming from like a not actually bad marriage, but an unhealthy marriage. I am learning now how to be healed from some things, dealing in that marriage, dealing in my new marriage. And I didn't really know that I need healing from them. And that's oftentimes until that point. You hit that button and it just blows up. And then you learn that I'm hurting from this. And I'm so thankful for our topics, what we're talking about today, because I was sharing in the car on my way coming here that I didn't know I needed to be healed from something from my now present husband until we started dwelling into this topic about healing. And so I actually literally sat him down and said, hey, before I go speak on healing, let me do some things that I need to do first. And so we sat down and we talked, and I told him, and he didn't know that he needed to be healed because he was walking around with some guilt of the situation.
And I think we talked about that when we first started, was that if you're going to be a part of this, I've learned from doing that it hits you first. And that don't come in here thinking you're going to fake these conversations, because
it's impossible.
It does not happen like that. So that's amazing. You bring that back into it. I remember us talking about not that, but just the fact that we have to deal with our own issues if you're going to pass this information on to somebody else. So,
and sometimes it's so difficult to see and really look at our own issues and say, especially when you're the encourager, when you're the pusher, when everybody look to you, you know, they feel like, oh, she's a strong one. And sometimes the strong one, she's strong, but she's not that strong.
And even to say that you didn't even know that you needed healing in those areas. I know that's how I was. I know, I'm just honest, like coming into my marriage, there were things that had occurred, or I would say from my father, and I thought they didn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I look at shows and they would be talking about she be crying and this, that, and that. That is not cause for all that. I ain't mad at my dad about either. Like, you are not that hurt. But I remember when I got married, how I had to literally go before God to say, okay, you're going to have to heal me from this, because if you don't, I'm gonna ruin a good thing because I don't know what I'm doing.
What I'm doing.
And I needed to be healed. And initially, I didn't know I needed to be healed.
Right.
That was when you said that. It's kind of like, yeah, I
One
didn't
of the
know.
things too that has always been key for me is that you have to admit that you
Yes.
want it.
That's
You
right.
have to
That's right.
Admit that you need healing, because if you don't admit or recognize that you need healing, then the healing process can never start.
Can never start.
Absolutely.
It will never happen in your life.
Right.
You can't say, I need healing
Right.
in
Come on.
this area. That
Right.
Yes.
You will never, and you'll live your whole life walking around as if you're okay, and you're not
And you're
okay.
not.
And just being a ticking bomb that anybody at any point can say the wrong thing to you,
And set you off.
will explode.
Right.
So for me, just being able to say that I'm wounded, I need help. I need to be healed in this spot right here. Right here, this spot, I need to be healed in
Right.
that area.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't want to admit, but we're living in a day and a season time. You gotta be healed in whatever area you need to be healed in to be able to move forward.
To be able to move forward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think my area was when I think about childhood, is that there was this thing that was said to me. Nobody is ever gonna want your little ugly black self. We're just gonna talk about it. Nobody's gonna want you. And so that one thing kind of trickled throughout my entire life, not just in relationships. Because first of all, it gave me this thing where I had to prove that somebody was gonna want me.
Yeah.
Oh baby, we don't have nothing to prove anymore. Come on, somebody.
Right.
But it put that thing. That was the place. But it wasn't just relationships. It was ministry. Oh, you say God called you? Oh, I'm gonna prove to you. I ain't got to prove to you.
Right.
But because it was said, nobody's gonna want you. And we don't realize that it can be one thing said to us that can then just kind of have this effect and have this grip on our life. And in every area of our life, we're trying to prove something.
Right.
We're trying to make that thing alive when it was already alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We want to make it be that.
Yeah, we're not gonna make it be that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, like even Sheila was saying, being able to, first of all, realize that you need healing. Like I just flat out went all the years and thought I was okay. So being able to realize that you do need to be healed
In some area. Yeah.
and then once we realize that, the admitting and accepting that this is something we have got to do.
And you know what's so funny about that? It's when I heard her say that, we have to admit it. We'll be the very ones who's giving the advice, giving the encouragement.
Yeah.
I mean, we're pushing everybody into everything, but we can't take the advice that we're giving because we're like, oh, that's for them.
Yeah.
When in actuality, baby, it's flowing through you. It might be for you too.
And
Yeah.
Another thing is that you know that saying that says one apple will ruin the whole barrel.
Yeah, one bad apple.
One bad apple. One bad apple can have a spot on it, but if it stay there long enough, touches
It's gonna
something,
spread.
it's gonna ruin the whole bag of apples.
Yeah.
You gotta take care of that little
You gotta
spot.
take
That one little
that little spot.
Yeah.
And so for you guys, bringing up those things, and like you're saying, again, I say the faith that just saying I had to admit it.
I had to admit it.
And not just that it's present now.
Now.
This is something I'm having
Come
to
on,
do
it's
now.
present now.
It's a now
Yeah.
thing.
Wouldn't have probably even recognize it, but we were talking about healing.
Yeah.
And I was reading about some healing scriptures, reading about different things, and I thought, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm hurting, and this could ruin my marriage now.
Now.
It could ruin my marriage now because I'm hurt about this.
Right.
I need to be healed from this issue, but didn't know that my spouse needed to be healed
As well.
because he was feeling just as much guilt about what had happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so just to sit down and talk
See,
about it.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, it was an open door.
It's open.
Yeah, it created so when we walk into those places, it creates a different atmosphere in our
Yes.
life. You get what I'm saying? Because I believe that it's less pressure now, it's less tension when you have those necessary conversations.
And you don't argue as much about the little stuff. The little stuff don't get next to you.
Right, because that big thing
That big thing
is
is
now no
gone.
longer hovering
That
over you.
elephant is out the
Come
window.
on.
And you know, when the light is shined on an area, even is in my life, and I've shined the light on that area in my life, it doesn't matter what you come and say to me because I've already exposed it in my own self.
I almost got up.
It doesn't matter what you say, baby, because I've already dealt with
Right,
it in my
right.
own
In my
life.
own.
So then
Yeah.
it's of none effect.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Lord.
And then the effects of trauma though.
Yes.
So realizing
Yeah.
that you need to be healed, but I think understanding the effects of having that trauma. and how it can ruin other parts of your life if you don't deal with it and go into the process of healing.
Yeah.
And so that's where we are now, is the process of healing and getting through that. And I think one of the things that stuck out to me, I was sharing, was that when I started thinking about the process of healing, even spiritually, I'm always, the natural things bring out the spiritual things.
Right.
And so I was looking at that, and I remember Chris had to have a surgery one time. And I remember them cutting that wound open, and it was just horrible. And I was like, ah. But I remember them saying, I was like, aren't you gonna stitch that up? We're not going home with that wound wide open. And the doctor said to me, and it made me realize, he was like, no, we leave it open. You got to pack it, pull it out, which was horrible, nasty, like the healing process could be. Every time I packed it and pulled it out, it came with the pus, the blood, the smell. I was like, oh, this is horrible. We found a real nurse. But the thing that was huge for me was when he made the statement that it had to
Heal
from the inside out.
Yeah.
That's it right there.
That blew in my mind, because I knew I'm nothing about no nursing, nothing about, whatever. So being that it had to start from the inside, the body on its own
Would heal
from the inside out. That's a truth for us spiritually. Everything
Correct.
starts from
The inside out.
and it shows up on the outside. And so watching that process take place, to me, was amazing. So you would notice it closing by, I could pack less and less in the room.
Yep.
Less and less in the room, till eventually it was closed.
It was closed.
Oh God, this is just like when Jesus spoke to the fig tree.
Go ahead.
We'll talk about it.
He cursed it at its very root, and it didn't look like it had changed in the beginning, but
Right.
the next day when they came back,
Mhm.
it was dead.
Right.
So in the beginning, things might not look like it's changed, but because you dealt with it,
Right.
you've done everything that you're supposed to do
Right.
to get it right.
Excellent.
You've done everything that you're supposed to do.
Right.
It's gonna heal, but it's healing from the
The inside
out. So just
Well, you
don't
can't
look
see
like
it.
Yes.
You
Just
can't
don't
see, I
look like
couldn't see the inside, the devil.
what was happening on the inside,
yeah.
I could not see it.
Mhm.
I didn't know until I noticed it was, matter of fact, it still was the same to me for a long time. The only thing that made me know it was closing, I could use less and less pack.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, it's doing just what they said it would do.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that was amazing to me. So
Yeah.
that inside out thing, we have to do it. You can't start from the outside. You can put on all makeup, you can put on all the jewelry, you can put on the high suits, all the best
all
shoes,
that.
you can smile, you can pretend all day long. But baby, if you're not here from the inside,
It's gonna show up on
It's
the
gonna
outside.
show
So
up
let's
on
talk
the
about this,
outside.
y'all. Let's talk about this part of
it's
the
gonna show up
process.
on the outside.
People are a part of our healing process. So here's the problem with that. People are normally the ones who hurt us. And you know what we do? We go into shutdown. We want to, and the Lord began to speak that to me when Tammy was talking about how she was packing his wound. So she was the person that God used as the person who was a part of his healing process. Yes, it was healing from the inside out, but there was something that needed to be done on the outside. So people are a part of our process, and a lot of times we would shut people out, even if it's not the person or the people who hurt us, because, oh, I'm done. I'm not going to let that happen to me anymore. That's going to be my protection mechanism, my coping. The effects of trauma. Yeah, and so then we will block our healing process because we don't want to let other people in. So I'm not guilty now, but I was guilty. I was hurt. I was wounded. I was like, you know what? I got it. I'll heal on my own. I'm just me and Jesus. But then God began to send people to me because people are a part of the process, and you have to let them in to, like he let you help him. He didn't say, no, I got it. No, I'm going to do it myself. Sometimes we need our sisters.
Yeah.
We need those people that God sends us to help us in the process because we cannot do it on our own.
Right.
And so that process becomes easier, thank you, God, when we allow people to help us.
Right.
I got excited.
One of
You
the
got way
things,
excited.
one
I
of the
did.
things is that when we, come to that place that we push people away because we
Yes.
want it, and we build this
Wall.
wall around us all the way. But one of the things that I found out is not only can they get in, but you
Can get out. Come on now.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Come on.
And so we have all this going on around us.
All around.
And so the effects of trauma affect, and it just doesn't affect you, it affects those around you as well. Because I saw a person I was hurting that I loved, but I was hurting because I need to be healed, you know. And so you have to be able to admit that and start that process of healing in the stinky part or the nasty part.
The stuff that don't look good. Yeah, it don't feel good.
Right. You know, whatever. We have got to be able to do that. So that's what I'm thinking. So being able to be healed, admit it, and start the process.
Yeah.
And then the last thing of that for me is the results of healing. What does that look like?
Yeah. It looks like us.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Freedom.
Ooh, but you know, the results of healing does not mean you're perfect.
Perfect.
Right.
It just looks like you move to a different place. You deal with things differently. You handle people differently, and you see things. Because let me tell you something: healing changes the way you see things.
That's right.
Healing changes your perspective of things. You'll read something, and you would have read it in a different tone, and you would have received it differently in your wounded place, but in your healed place, baby, you see something completely different.
You can say the glass is half full instead of half empty. And now I see it in a different way. Half full instead of half empty.
Right.
And even if it's not halfway, you got something in it.
For me, the results, we got something going on. So we're looking all over the crazy place. We're staying with you guys because this is important to us, okay? So, but the results of healing for me was a saved marriage for one.
Yes.
Raising kids that were able to maintain a sense of something, you know, not some dysfunctional family because I was all out in left field somewhere. And a better me, you know, to be free. And I'll be honest with you, I wasn't as free then as I am now. So I think it still comes in stages and phases, and there are different areas that we have to evolve and we evolve and become who we are supposed to be. So that was for me.
And I think for me, like you said, my marriage looks different now.
Right.
You know, a trust that was not there is now there. You know, because it wasn't there. It wasn't there because it was a wounded place.
Right.
But then the result of it is a trust factor now. You know, I'm finna be very candid about a little bit of my business. In my new marriage, in my old marriage, me and my husband had a joint banking account.
Okay.
And I remember when we was counseled, we was told that we at least need to have a banking account together. I was like, oh no, that's not gonna happen, because I was wounded. I was in a wounded place. No, we're not gonna do that. And they was like, well, I can understand you have your own, but you know, that's a part of being married. You know, try to get this together. Well, I never shared with my now husband how much money I had on my own in the bank.
Okay.
I never disclosed. We opened up a joint account, but we put in what we wanted to. Well, we were talking that day, same day, after that talking. And I sat down and I talked to him and I said, this is what I have in the bank in this account. And he was amazed. He said, why you tell me now? I said, because I'm healed. I trust you.
Yes.
I trust you.
That's big.
And if I'm going to trust you, I'm going to trust you with everything.
Right.
That's good.
And I told him, and so we sat down and we went over what because he was open. He said, look, you can look at you got my bank account number, you got this. I was like, okay.
Right.
All right. Okay. All right. Because I was so saying the next time I get in the man, I'm not gonna be hurt. You ain't gonna take nothing from me. I'm what I came in here with. I'm going back out.
Right.
But I didn't know it came from that place of being hurt.
Right.
Even when I heard with the woman of God counseling us, telling us, you know, I understand that, but y'all do need to know what y'all have.
Right.
I never would tell.
Right.
And so I sat down and told him, and in that I saw a softening in him. And in that he said that I never want to see you in a place of being in distress or hurt.
Right.
You know, so it softened him. So that's what it looks like as well.
Right.
You know,
right.
it might, because you have to think, not to say I'm the more spiritual one, but my husband might not be in the place
Right.
That I'm in. Yeah.
that I'm in.
Right.
But to see me come along and say, honey, this is what I have.
Right.
You know, this is what I trust you.
Right. Right.
It'll change him.
Yeah.
Like you
Yes,
said, it'll
Lord.
change him.
Yes.
But also it's a healing place for me, but it's a healing place and a growth place for him too.
Right.
For him to say, she got the love of Jesus in her.
Right.
She she did
Right.
save the individual,
Yeah.
but she's not showing it because she don't even trust me with her money. I'm her. But then when I go to that place, well, maybe it is something to this Jesus.
It
Right.
is.
Maybe I need to dwell deep.
Right. Right. Right.
So that's what it looks like as well. That's
Right.
what it looks
The
like.
results of
The
it.
results.
The
of it.
results of it.
The results will change the whole outcome.
It changed the
It'll change the whole outcome. If you can get there, and we can all get there, we just got to
Yes.
practice and open it up.
It takes work.
It takes work.
Yeah, it takes inner work and it takes outer work.
And it's so surprising because sometimes we can sit, and even in this conversation, we could sit in that whole conversation and know good and well it's stuff we need to be working on.
Yes.
And still not do it.
And still not do it. Why waste our time?
Yeah.
You know, with that. So just go ahead. And my thing is for anybody, just to encourage you to go ahead, figure out what you need healing in. You already know. I would say you already know, but I'm honest to tell you, there was a time I did not know. I thought I was okay. And that I didn't need it. But what I had did was build a wall around me.
Yeah.
And was
That's how we protect ourselves.
And protecting my heart.
Yes.
You know, and stuff like that. But now the result of that is being in a place where we're free, being able to love freely, not letting the expectations of us dictate who we are and what we do, and just living in that place. And your story, you know, just from us being able to bring this topic to the
It's gonna help
forefront
somebody.
and
Yeah.
making us have to, which it will do, make us have to dig deeper in
Yeah.
us
Yes.
and be honest with who we are. And I'll tell you, it'll show up.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. Whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
That's it.
And when it shows up, you gotta acknowledge it. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have never thought. You know, but we talk about healing, the effects, and trauma. And I was like, okay, my trauma was I was thinking about the death of my son. Okay, that's the one that I was going to use. Okay,
Yeah.
and then I was thinking, I'm not healed from it, but from this, but God got to do this.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that God has to do the healing.
Yeah.
But this right here, when it came to me, I was like, yeah, I feel a certain type of way. Still. You know, I'm feeling kind of bad. We need to discuss this.
Right.
But then being able to go to him, having the time to go to him, and being able to discuss it and to see the outcome. So to know that we want everyone to know that this is not just stuff we're doing. This is stuff that we're living.
Yeah.
We're living.
We're absolutely living it. I had an experience. I had to, something was going on. I had to call a lady, have a conversation. And one of the things, the first thing that she said to me, that she had watched our other show, and I said, well, I want to call you first because I like to talk to people. Like, I like to get it on the table. And she was saying, well, that's what you said on your show. That's what you do. So you are who you say you are.
Yeah. Yes.
And so, you know, we have to understand that people are watching who we say we are, and we have to deal with that.
That's
Yes.
As
That's
well.
right.
So we're all here saying one thing
And doing
you
something
doing
else.
something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trust the door will be open in
Yeah.
a few days to live what you just said.
But you just said
Every time.
Are you who you say you are?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's what I think is important for us. So for
Yes.
me, I'm just again ecstatic about what is occurring in our lives. I'm ecstatic about the platform that we're being
Yes.
given to share just in plain terms what this is all about in the
Yes.
phases and the stages
Yeah.
that we all go through, and being able to be honest about it, not hiding
Yeah.
behind it. If I'm in a bad place, I got some good things.
I'm in a bad place. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm dealing with this right now. I'm gonna let y'all take this and talk because I'm dealing with it. You know, so that's very important. You know, to be able to say, and then also even as we're hearing the process is going on and occurring, that there are times we still have pop-ups. Even in the head of things will pop up that set you back and triggers you.
They're triggers.
And you realize, okay, this is not over. I got more. It's more to this that I got to dig out. So don't think that I mentioned this one time, I had a little conversation, and it's over. No, that wound took weeks and weeks to years long to heal.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just happen overnight. So that's my thing with that. So,
But when you really get healed,
that's
When you really get healed.
and that even to the point that if somebody hurt you, you can now walk in the same room with that person and not feel anything if you're really healed.
right.
Yeah.
We didn't say you forgot.
Okay, no, I didn't say that. I'm just saying it's being healed.
I'm saying that. We're not saying you
Being
forgot.
healed and you not feeling
Feeling
anything.
good.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Because you know what God taught me about this place I had to be healed in as it relates to ministry? He said to me, he said, Latrice, he said, I had to really, really expedite your healing. I had to get you through this process. He said, because if not, I would have said something to you or told you to do something and you would have disobeyed me because you were hurt. Because, that's real.
Right.
Because God will give you instructions and you'll be like, no, I don't deal with that person.
Right.
No, I don't talk to that person.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they did such to me. So I know God is not telling me to do it. But what if he is? So that's how he dealt with me.
Right.
And so he said, you can't live in this hurt and wounded place if you really say like you said, you want to show him, you want to show him Jesus. So I can't tell you Jesus and not show you Jesus because I'm wounded.
Right.
So that's important for us to understand that we don't want our hurt to block us from a place that God is trying to get us to or something.
While you're hurting, you are blocking everything.
Right.
This is what it is.
Right.
And I ain't even saying God blocking, you blocking.
You're blocking it. Yeah.
So it is
You don't
what
want to
it
block
is.
yourself.
So
Yeah.
that being said, I want to encourage everybody to search your heart.
Yeah.
You may not be one of those. She should have full conversation with Jesus and get full paragraphs. I get silence in one sentence.
And I might get one word.
And I might get one word.
And
One word sometimes. You know what I'm saying? But you have to figure out what your method is. And what your connect is with him. So, and make sure that you are comfortable with that. The biggest thing is that you are accepting the fact that these are areas I need to be healed in or I need to work on. And understanding that it is a process and that process takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. I've had things from a therapeutic sense that, we were taught that when things happen to young kids, sometimes it takes 18 years for them to get over what happened to them as a child. Wow. So to think that, it is true that things that happen to us as children, I'm not going to tell how old y'all are, but now we're older and we're still dealing with those things because they were never dealt with properly. So it takes years and years to get over trauma that happens sometimes, but we're here to tell you that you can get over it.
Yes.
Yeah. You can move on.
Yes.
And you can live a life full of freedom.
Yes.
Like we're supposed to.
Like we're supposed to.
So we want to thank you guys again for coming and joining us.
Yes.
On KonnectUP, we like to try to feature one business, and the faith has information for that today. Now, y'all don't need to be eating these cookies all the time and everything, and I give them to eat way more than I should because they are fresh and they just be.
So our thing today is called Tiff Treats. And they cookies,
I think chocolate chip.
This chocolate chip. We got chocolate chip and sugar. So everybody open up, let's see before we.
I'm gonna eat mine.
I want sugar.
Me too. I love their cookies, and I don't know. And we have some outside for anybody. In the line
have some outside.
Have those. We have them outside. They can get them. So.
Nobody. And then now, we know we're still in COVID, so they individually wrap them. Individually wrap them, and you can buy them. You can go on cookiedelivery.com to order your Tiff Treats, and also we found out that they have an app. It's called Tiff Treats, and it's on every major platform. Apple, Google, you can get these. They arrive very warm.
Oh yes.
They very good. So we ask you to please
support.
We do not need to eat these all the time.
No.
Oh, 'cause it's good. It's really good. This is a really good cookie. I'm trying not to eat my talk to y'all about Tips treats. I'm really trying to talk to y'all about Tips treats, but I eat this cookie. So on any major platform, y'all can go find them. And we just want to thank Tips treats for being a part of KonnectUP.
Yes, and we're glad to be able to let y'all taste them out there. But again, just so you guys know, we love you all. We're glad you came to share with us. We're glad you were listening to us.
Yes.
And again, I am Gabrielle G. Gabby Yali.
And I'm Sheila.
And I'm Latrice.
And I am LaFay.
And I'm still love you guys.
Bye.
And we'll see you soon. Love you guys.
Hi, my question is when you guys was talking about healing, what were some of the things that you did? Was it like counseling or just one-on-one with your spouse or whomever you had that trauma with?
I'll go first because I like to talk. But one incident occurred with a family member that when I was young and growing up, and one of the things I was heard about, I was told that I would never have anything. I would never be anything. And if God blessed me, he would only bless because of my husband. It would not be because of me. The person that came from was very hurtful. But when I went back to try to have the conversation, they basically denied that it even occurred. So I had to find a resolve within me, between me and God, to say, hey, they're not even admitting it. So sometimes, you're told often that you need to go back and talk to that person, but sometimes that's not even an option. And it's not because they're dead. They're just not going to talk to you, and they're not going to admit it, which in turn can cause more trauma and more hurt because what you're saying happened. And so for me, I spent a lot of time I would pray. I was angry for a long time, but when I finally got to the point that I wanted healing, I wasn't in therapy or anything because, at that time, therapy was taboo for us. We didn't do therapy. But since then, I have a therapist now, but I had to deal with it myself and it was a lot of prayer. That you heal me. I don't know how you're going to deal with them, but it's me that need to heal it. And I want you to help me get through this. And over time, that's how it was. So when thoughts would come to my mind that weren't right or would throw me back in that place, then I would go back and say, okay, it's me. I need help. I'm not wanting to dwell on what they did or why they did it or whatever, but I need help. So I had to just keep putting me on the block because it didn't just go away overnight, okay? The other situation that I shared as far as with me and my husband went, I was able to, of course, talk to him. But again, you got to remember, my first love or relationship is with God. And so with that being said, I had to know that if I'm going to do this right and I'm trying to be in right standing with him, then I had to put some things, I had to do it the way I was taught to do it according to the word, okay? And so that took a lot of healing for me, but I also had a husband that understood. And so that helped me, versus somebody that was fighting me. And it helped me through the healing process. And also the fact that he had already recognized I was too much to deal with anyway, and that I needed some help. And so he afforded me the time and was very patient with me as I went through that process. Now, fast forward, I currently have a therapist. And me coming from my point, like I was saying about with me and my spouse, I was determined that this time when I got married, I was going to have marriage counseling. I was determined. I was not going to marry nobody without marriage counseling. And I meant that because like Gabrielle said, back when we got married, that was taboo. You just went to the altar, you got married. You didn't do no counseling because we're going to say it. Black women don't do that. Black folks don't do that. But I was determined this time I was going to have counseling. And in my counseling, when the counselor that we had talked about finance, that was one of our things. We talked about finance. And in that, they talked about having a joint account. And I was thinking, oh, no, you don't hit the wrong thing. That's not good. No. And then, like I said, once I began to see my husband and see him in the place of what he was in and seeing that I really wanted this marriage to work and seeing that I really did love this man and also realizing, first and foremost,
my relationship with God? How can I say I love the man and this is supposed to be the head? He's the head. And how can I have a head that don't even know what's going on?
Right.
And I was like, okay, God, I hear you, but I can just tell him this little piece and we can work with it from there. And like I said, once we started dealing about healing and I really realized what I was hurt about.
Right.
That's what came into play. When I realized what I was hurt about, it wasn't about him washing clothes because he can't. It wasn't about him messing up the kitchen, not want to wash dishes. I was mad about this situation.
Right.
This situation hurt me. It was devastating to me. And we wasn't even married, but we were dating. So I went and married a person, even being in a hurt state. I think the counseling helped because it started with the counseling kind of start mixing that stuff up, saying y'all need to have like a joint account. Y'all need to be your finances. Y'all need to know. And I think it kept because I kept dreaming about it. I kept thinking about it. Stuff just kept coming to me about it. And when I finally sat down with him and told him, I didn't make no big deal. I said, honey, can we just sit down and talk? I said, it's something that's been bothering me. And I think sometimes how we approach, with me being the spiritual, when I come in there, the Lord told me, no, I went in there and said, honey, can we sit down and can we talk? I said, it's something that's bothering me. I said, I really want to talk to you about something. And when I brought it to him, he dropped his head and I said, no, you ain't got to drop it. He said, yes, because I never want to see you hurt like that again. And I'm so sorry. And, it hurts me. But see, I freed him too because I didn't know he was carrying that around.
Right.
And so now, like she said, working on it, after we got through talking, probably about 2 or 3 hours later, I came down, let's sit down, let me tell you about my financial situation. Let me tell you what's going on with me. And so like Gabrielle said, it's a process. You ain't gonna do everything all at once, but you'll start with little steps. Now we're talking more and more about different things. We're talking about combining all of our accounts together. We're doing wheels and stuff. We're saying how we wanna set up with our children. So out of that one thing, the process is starting to begin. So that's how we
And I
did.
absolutely love it.
Yes.
So for me, it was therapy, and it was letting people in. I'm probably gonna talk about that a lot because we close ourselves off to people because people hurt us. So and you need people in your life who will kidnap you and will take you to a mountain. This happened in real life.
I'm not
and
doing that
would say, you're gonna talk about this thing today. Because otherwise you will sit and you will stew and it will brew and it will boil.
Yes.
And boil over. And so
And
that's
fester.
why that's why I'm really big on we have to let people in because people are a part of the process. So therapy is good. You need that one-on-one time with person. Listen, my therapist was the bomb, baby. And if I need to call her right now, I can. Because she got me all the way together. But then you need those people who are with you in your everyday life, who know you outside of your title, outside of your job, outside of your church, outside of your whatever, who can say, listen, Tracy, baby, this is what I see, and this is what I believe you need to do. You might not do all of it. All of it may not work for you, but you got to be open to receive it. So that's an important step to us for real. Allowing the people who are in our lives to be who they're supposed to be. So that for me, that's what worked for me. That's what still works for me. Because I'm telling you, I got kidnapped. I got took to a mountain and I got told off. In love, and got busted. And then people say, okay, let's go eat dinner. You need those people in your life.
Yes, you do. You got to. Well, for me, I've always been the person that I would host stuff for a while and then it's just like, oh, I gotta get this off of me. So I'm big with going to that person and saying, listen, we need to talk. And even if I don't know how to do it, we gonna start the process. And we gonna start talking about this until we allow God to heal us from the inside out. And that's one of the things I found with women. We'd rather just turn the corner and not speak to each other and come back and let's sit down and talk about this. And one of the things that I like you, I didn't get kidnapped or anything, but you got
together.
snatched and said, sometimes you have to set boundaries in your life.
Oh, really?
And
Yep.
and that helped me. That really do, because you cannot, because boundaries sometimes help you
Yes.
from getting hurt again. I'm not talking about walls, but I'm talking about boundaries.
Healthy boundaries.
Yeah,
That-
healthy
yeah,
boundaries.
healthy boundaries
Yeah.
to say, listen, you don't have to allow somebody to talk to you like that. You don't have to allow them to speak to you like that. You don't have to allow that. But so you just have to have boundaries in your life. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's nothing wrong with that. And for the other most important part is you got to know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to know who you
That's
are.
a whole conversation. all by
Yes,
itself.
that's all. It is. But knowing who you are
It's true.
and who you supposed to be, and not allowing anybody else to dump in on you.
Because everybody has something to say.
Yeah.
Okay, now it's y'all time. Okay. So we'll start a whole other conversation.
Any other questions?
Comments?
I just like that, I just like the fact that you brought out about, I think it was you, Sheila, a couple of you maybe, that something was said to you, and we allow what people say to us to kind of direct our lives.
Yes.
And as for me, and I can tell you what it is, I had a auntie that said to me that I was a disgrace to the family.
My God.
And mind you, I was in ministry for about 15 years, and I was up preaching, and nothing even about that. And the Lord brought it back to me, and it broke me down. 15 years I carried something in me, and what I was doing was trying to prove, as Latrice said, trying to prove to people, you say I'm a disgrace, but look at me now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so that I've been asked, what do you do? How did you overcome it? And I don't have a formula. But first of all, I think you said that you let people in. Because I was the one that would wall people out. And God said to me, when you wall people out, you wall me out. So I had to get to a place of trusting the people that God sent in to me. So I think that was really major that you said that, because I think a lot of us, we do wall people out, and as women, we nurture the very life out of things. We hold on to, because we're natural nurturers.
Yeah.
So we hold on to things, but that's not the right way.
Amen.
So I appreciate, you all bringing that out, and even now helping me, and to be honest, that I don't trust everybody,
Me too.
and so it is helping me to be able to learn to let people come in. Everybody not going to come in and hurt.
To hurt you.
Yeah.
Right.
So I appreciate that.
Amen.
Amen.
I think the first thing that we do when we're hurt, you're gonna do one thing or the other. You're gonna open the floodgates, trying to prove to everybody that you worth love, or you're gonna wall everybody out. You're gonna, there's no balance with it until you heal. So you're gonna go one extreme or the other.
And then you're going to end up hurting people.
And then hello, yeah,
You're hurt because hurting people hurt. What do? They hurt people.
yeah.
Even when you don't know you're hurting.
Even when you know even though when you know.
Because if you don't know you're carrying hurt, most times you don't realize that what you're carrying is actually hurting somebody. You may not intentionally do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, we hurt people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I want to go back to the comment that you made about the wound, about the doctor saying to you with the wound of the child and the process that you had to go through to understand how a wound heals. And that was a huge thing for me over so many years. I'm an introvert, and I've always been a type of person that I'm a loner. I do well by myself. I'm not the person that need a lot of people around me to strive in life, if you will. And the very root of a wound will hold you there. If you don't go to the root of that wound, even though over time it is supposed to heal. But if you don't go to the root, and you talked about that spoiled spot on that apple, that's also going to the root. If you don't deal with the root of something, then you may think it's healing, and it may appear to be healing, but if you don't deal with where that came from, then that healing it still has, the moment air hit it, it festers. So a lot of time as women, we have this thing where we really don't know our worth. We are powerful within ourselves. And we have a tendency to just say, I'm good. I'm okay. I'll deal with it. I got it. I can handle it. We do that as women, especially in relationships, in marriages, when it comes to the men in our lives, because we don't want to feel like we are the reason that that particular marriage or relationship or whatever is not moving forward. So we'll just accept what is going on. But if I can encourage any female, you don't have to accept. You're better off in the long run if you deal with the wound, deal with the root, even as uncomfortable as it gets. I remember what my husband and I just celebrated 8 years of marriage in this month. And I remember when we got married, one of the things that I would always do, if I wanted to talk about something, even if it got uncomfortable, I'm that stubborn person. My response was, okay, you may be mad, but you still didn't answer my question. Or, okay, well, you may be upset, but it didn't go away, so we still need to deal with this. As uncomfortable as it may be, if you really want some healing from that situation, then you have got to stay in there, hang in there, stay in there, and deal with that root until you see that root healed. That was a powerful lesson for me to learn in this marriage. I've been married before, and that was where my error was in my first marriage. If something didn't feel good, I would just bow out gracefully because I didn't want to shake the tree. I didn't, in this marriage, I said, no, devil, you ain't gonna win on this ground. I have done my sabbatical. I've gotten to myself. I've gotten with me and God has shown me where I need to be strong in, where I need to stand my ground in. And you got to learn how to talk to Satan. You can't back up from him and let him know. You got to stand in there and talk to him like, no. You're not going to win this fight. I'm ready for you. I'm prepared for you. And I know, as soon as you say it out your mouth, trust and believe, I've been doing this long enough, this walk with God long enough now, that I already know that he's going to come with something in the next couple of days, if it even take him that long, that he's going to stick his head up into my marriage because I'm saying it out my mouth. But I stand flat-footed and tell him even now, you can go back to the pits of hell with that because it's not going to fly. So you got to learn to deal with that. You got to learn to deal with the core of that wound to get it completely healed.
I don't know where to begin because, all of you ladies have really helped me in so many areas. And I would listen to Tammy when she was talking about the hurt and how she was branded when she was young. I was branded also. My mom had like 8 children and I was the oldest. and nobody in the community loved us. So they always called us Pharaoh's army. So I carried that hurt for many, many years. I didn't know who to go to. And so I was like the lady over here, Latrice. I was hurting people because I was hurt. I didn't know how to draw from the well that I'm drawing from now. You know, and sometimes the enemy tries to bring it back to me when things just don't go my way. But I have to rebuke that and set him in place and tell him to get behind me because I'm healed today. And I don't have to feel no guilt about anything because Jesus has already paid the price for me, you know. So I'm walking in a new walk today. But you know, I just reflect on some things all of you have said today. I've been there and I've done that. And it was a place of hurt. I mean, terrible hurt. That nobody understood me. I cried out for help, but nobody understood where I was coming from. But I thank God that God will always have a ram in a bush. He will send somebody to rescue you from the hurt that had you captured in prison for so many years. So I thank God today that you ladies have really helped me.
So I'm glad that for the comments, the questions, the encouragement from you guys as well. I'm always grateful for this awesome team of women. I say it every time because this has been a major shift in my life for me because I'm used to just do what I'm gonna do, and so this is a change for me as well. So thankful for you all for being here and supporting us. Thankful for you guys, as I tell you all individually and as a group as well. And also thankful for you for dealing with all this that we got going on in this room today, filming us and being so professional about it. But again, we love you guys. We're gonna take a break and see if they come in here or get changed or whatever. But love you, and again, thank you for joining us. We definitely appreciate it.
Amen.